Who is Robert Hooke, and how was research able to help us in today's time? So, introduction. Scientist Robert Hooke was an English polymath active as a scientist, natural philosopher, and architect who is credited to be one of the first two scientists to discover microorganisms in 1665, using a compound microscope that he built himself, the other scientist being Anthony van Leeuwenhoek in 1674. The early life and background of Robert Hooke. Robert Hooke was born on July 18, 1635 in Freshwater of the Isle of Wight and died on March 3, 1703 in London. He was one of the four children. His father died in 1648, leaving Hooke 40 pounds, a lot of money at that time. He moved to London to be a painter's apprentice, who he soon left the apprenticeship and attended in Westminster School. Next, the scientific achievement of Robert Hooke. Among other accomplishments, he invented the universal joint, the iris diaphragm, and an early prototype of the respiratory, invented the anchor instrument and the balance spring, which made more accurate clocks possible, served as a chief surveyor, and helped rebuild London after the Great Fire of 1666. One of Hooke's biggest scientific achievements was the invention of the modern microscope. Hooke is always credited in the invention of the compound microscope, the wheel barometer, and the hydrometer. Hooke saw tiny box-like caves, which he illustrated and described as cells. He has discovered plant cells. Hooke's discovery led to the understanding of cells as the smallest units of life, the foundation of cell theory. So, here are the example of illustration of Robert Hooke's law of elasticity of materials. Next. This is one of the example of engraving of universal joint invented by Robert Hooke to allow directional movement of astronomical instruments. And these are one of the example of Robert Hooke's drawing of the circular structure of cork and a spin-sensitive plant from Microscopia in 1665. Also, a drawing of female gun by Robert Hooke, drawing of a female gnat from Robert Hooke from Microscopia in 1665. Also, the impact to society. Possible the person most influenced by Hooke was his greatest rival and successor in the world of microscopy, Anthony van Leeuwenhoek, 1632-1723. Although the two never met, Leeuwenhoek was clearly motivated by Hooke's accomplishments. As he go to rounds his own microscope lens and build his own equipment, the invention of the microscope led to the discovery of the cell by Hooke. While looking at cork, Hooke observed box-shaped structure which he called cells, as they reminded him of the cells of rooms, and monastery. This discovery led to the development of the classical cell theory. Next, the personal insight. Robert Hooke's best quotes. By the help of the microscopes, there is nothing so small as to escape our inquiry. Hence, there is a new visible world discovered to the understanding. Note, microscope. Next, the truth is the science of nature has already been too long made only a work of the brain and the fancy. Also, nature is our greatest teacher and we must be attentive students. And science is a language that allows us to communicate with the universe. So science have a responsibility to use their own knowledge for the betterment of the society. Also, the conclusion, Hooke used his microscope to study the ancient cells in fossil wood. He concluded the fossil has announced being living creatures whose cells has become mineralized. He also conducted some species that had once existed and has become extinct. Robert Hooke was a dominant scientific leader of 17th century who contributed all aspects of science. As a scientist, Robert Hooke specialized in the scientific field of mechanics. As a significant figure of a Royal Society, he led many wheel barometer and spring clock using his architect talent. He published Micropodia, which opened the world's eyes to his European discovery of microorganisms through his descriptive and detailed illustration. Also, Hooke greatly improved the technique of microscopy and his escape today, and Robert Hooke's newly discovered insight from his scientific experimentation furthermore influenced the Newton to allow him to discover the law of universal gravitation. The critical significance of his life is proved to be evident through the fact that the entire congregation of Royal Society members attended his funeral when he died, acknowledging his wisdom and scientific achievements. So here are the credits or the references which we can see the life of Robert Hooke. Thank you.